participated, who showed up. I know the first day was kind of warm, but we all stayed hydrated, drank a lot of water. We had some really great presenters. Just the beauty of being outdoors was fabulous. We had great lunch. We had great conversations. We had our visitors that came from Texas who shared their programs. I just want to say thank you for doing that. It was great. We really listened to the things that you guys wanted, and so we tried to provide those for you, outdoors being one of the main things that was requested. I also like to give a shout out to Yakayama for letting us have the event out there. Just a special thank you, especially to Vicky Macias for kind of giving us a little bit of history about Yakayama and how that came about. So thank you for that. I don't know if Ephraim or you or Eugene have any shout outs that you'd like to give.
Yeah, I have one also to Indian Child Family Preservation Program. They invited me to do a presentation for their youth, and it was really cool. I had a lot of fun. It was a cultural versus commercial tobacco, so that's pretty relevant on today's webinar. They also had like a bunch of birds and like super cool activities. They were making clapper sticks, and I almost wanted to make one myself, but I was like, I have to go present. But I probably would have made some cool. They had jewelry and stuff too. It was awesome. So that's my shout out.
So I just want to give a shout out to everyone that presented at the resource meeting. I sent out I did all the evaluations and collected all the surveys for it. And I mean, everyone kind of got glowing reviews. Big shout out to also Round Valley and Angelica and the girls and doing all that. It was really well received. And everyone just felt very inspired, and it was a really good way to cap off the 5th year of this grant. And so again, just thank you to everyone that presented. Thank you for everyone that contributed by attending. And I think it went off really well.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Ephraim, you go ahead and take it away.
Yeah. Okay, so today we have a super awesome featured presenter. She is from Round Valley. She works at the Round Valley Indian Health Center. She's the site program lead there. And she's had tremendous success with the implementation of Project Sun and with building relationships with her community and her tribal youth. Well, I don't know. I'll let her do the rest. She's really awesome, and I'm glad she agreed to do this webinar here today. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Angelica Pete.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Good. Awesome. Well, I'm Angelica Pete. My tribes are Wailaki and Nomalaki. In Round Valley, we have 7 different tribes, so it's really important to state which tribe you're from. I'm very happy to be here today. I can't wait to talk about the webinar, talk about the things that I did over the school year with the students here. So we're going to be talking about commercial tobacco. And if just a little recap, commercial tobacco again is cigarettes, chew, e-cigarettes, anything that's not traditional tobacco. You can switch it now. Okay. So what we did in the school year, or what I did, was the Project Sun, and Sun stands for Stop the Use of Nicotine, and it's a research project that is held through University of Southern California. They implemented this research project on people from Russia, from Japan, China, everywhere. And so the lady who wanted to do it on Native Americans, she wanted to change the whole curriculum so that way it follows the Native American culture and by doing the things that we do in our tradition. So it's an 8-session curriculum that is focused on helping and supporting Native American teenagers and adults become commercial tobacco free. The curriculum follows the Native American culture by adding in different things, like we have talking circle, we have our talking stick that we like to pass around in our circle. That way they know whoever has a talking stick, you respect them, you respect what they say, you respect how they are bringing their self up. Because it's scary talking to people in a circle who, you know, maybe you've known your whole life or who you've just met. It's scary to have all those eyes on you. So that was a good practice. The curriculum, you know, just talks about the differences between traditional tobacco and commercial tobacco. I like to add in that commercial tobacco industries like to put a really big target on many Native American youth and elders. You know, they have packaging with like Native American heads on them, like American spirits and Red Man Chew. You know, those target us natives to say, oh, that's our tradition, that's what we do, these are the things that we're supposed to do, when really these are harming our youth and our, you know, everybody, and they're causing different cancers and everything in our native communities. So I just wanted to get that picture saying, you know, that commercial tobacco industries do target a lot of Native American people in general. So during the 8 sessions, you know, I even learned more information on how harmful commercial tobacco is to our bodies and spirit. You know, we learned coping mechanisms for quitting, breathing exercise, and yoga to help with irritability. While the students were cutting down their commercial tobacco use, we did yoga, which was really cool. Some of the kids thought it was weird to be doing yoga poses in class, or, you know, just to breathe even. They were like, what are we doing? They're not used to that. So it was cool to bring them all together and learn to do that, because we did it for 3 minutes, and seriously, right after, everybody was relaxed. Everybody could feel that this can really help with your process of quitting. And that could be for anybody too. So there were 12 out of the 20 students who finished the 8 sessions strong with no commercial tobacco products, which was awesome, because some of the students smoked tobacco, some of them didn't, and 12 out of the 20 who I know smoked tobacco were completely commercial tobacco free. But I told, you know, some of the people or some of the youth who didn't smoke tobacco, they could be addicted to other things like their cell phones or sodas or snacks, you know, just different things like that, video games. So it was a good process to learning and to learn different coping mechanisms, to teach them, like, you know, we don't have to be addicted to these things. There's ways that we can get over them. There's ways that we can overcome them. So these are the students, the 12 out of the 20 students who had completed the Project Sun, staying commercial tobacco free, and who I've known growing up, who I've seen as little babies. So it was really cool to be their mentor and to show them the right way, to show them what traditional tobacco is. Because some of the students, you know, they thought cigarettes were traditional smoking sticks. And it's, you know, it's pretty hard to get out of that stigma, because a lot of their elders, you know, they believe that commercial tobacco is traditional tobacco. So we're just trying to get that stigma out of the way. Go ahead, you can change it. So in the class, we had these little notebooks. You know, I had a manual that I followed through, just a whole big book of the curriculum. The students had guidebooks that they had, and in the books, we actually had a poster that I hung up every day, and just to let them know and see the difference between sacred and recreational tobacco use. So if you can see on the sacred tobacco, you know, the way we use it is intentional. It's relatively natural and unprocessed, not inhaled. Only some tribes can be inhaled. That's their tradition, that's their culture. But most of the tribes, they never inhaled the tobacco. It is viewed as medicine and sacred and seen as a spirit. So it's an I-thou relationship. It's used for ceremony or prayer, gathered and cultivated as a plant ancestor. Whereas recreational tobacco is habitual and it's unmindful. You're not thinking of what's going into your body and what you're letting out. It's processed and laced with additives and chemicals, inhaled or used repeatedly. It can be viewed as unhealthful, shameful addiction, seen as a drug, so it's an I-it relationship. Recreational tobacco is smoke, vape, dip, chew, which they do casually, and it's produced by corporations for profit and distributed as a commodity. So you can see the difference from the list. Sacred tobacco, we don't use that for profit. We don't use that for our own money gain or capital. We use that for our spirit. We use it to help us, become healed and become sacred. So we posted in this classroom each session just so that they could be reminded of, what kind of tobacco they should be messing with if they do mess with tobacco. You can turn the slide. Go over some things that went well and things that could have worked. So the things that went well was the student participation. They loved it. The Project Sun was very interesting and it kept them entertained. So every session we would have, there was a role play. So they would be assigned different roles, different characters, and they would have role play cards. So it would have all the information of who they were playing, and it could be somebody who started smoking when they were 15, somebody who started smoking when they were 25, and so on. And it shows the differences of how the 15-year, how they're addicted, how the 25-year, how they're addicted, and their different outcomes, like if they have any health issues or if they have, lung disease or cancers. And it's really opened up their eyes to see, like, wow, these are real people who've been through this thing, who have been smoking basically all of their lives, and who are only 50 years old and have heart disease or lung disease or, different other things that are caused from cigarette smoking. The curriculum really kept the students entertained and interested. Of course, for native kids, I think all kids, you have to have food or incentives. That really worked well. And pictures and media also. I remember one session I showed a picture of hairy tongue. And if none of you guys know what that looks like, I suggest you look it up, because it is what happens to your tongue after you chew tobacco. And, you actually grow hair on your tongue. Probably you can braid it. No, I'm just joking. But that's what really got them interested was, seeing different things like that, seeing different posters. I showed a poster of a guy who worked at a casino all his life and had never smoked, but he died from secondhand smoke from lung cancer. So it just shows to effect, like, that's how harmful it is, especially for little babies. So things that could have worked, the sessions were held in a school setting in the classroom. So for the first time, I would recommend a small setting with less students. We had 20 to 25. So I would suggest maybe 10 to 15 students, and maybe at your office, maybe at a workplace, somewhere where it's quiet, where they can't get distracted very easily, because, the students who I worked with, they were all friends, and so they wanted to be on their phones, they wanted to talk to each other and sit by each other. So you just had to be a little bit stern, but they respect you at the end of the day, and they know, what's going on and everything like that. But another thing that I wanted to throw in is, like, how did I recruit the youth to even want to keep coming and want to keep coming back and feel interested in learning about tobacco education was, I was just really open and honest with them. We were doing a survey where my coworker, who, is older than me and who doesn't really know the students, they did not open up to her. They closed themselves off. They felt like maybe like ashamed or scared. So what I did the very first session is, I just was straight up with them. I told them what the sessions are going to be about and about my experience with commercial tobacco. I used to smoke commercial tobacco. I used to smoke cigarettes. So I was just open for them. And they did not know that. They did not understand, or they looked at me really crazy, like, are you serious? So it was, just be open with them, be honest, especially with the native students, who you've known all your life or who you've known all their life. It's really good to be open with them and to let them know, like, the things that you went through and the things that helped you. Everybody's different, but it's good to just have that information. And even if you didn't smoke, just be honest and let them know that you're there to help them, that this is something that is very important, I feel, especially in Native communities, because if you look at the statistics, you can see, a lot of Native communities or Native elders, especially Native youth, they like to smoke, especially the youth, they're getting into these jewel pods that look like USBs, so they're easier to take into schools, but they're actually more harmful. They have 5 milligrams of nicotine, and if that punctures and you swallow it, or a baby gets it, or a pet, you can die really instantly, basically, because of that nicotine. It's just poison in your body. But do I have another slide? I don't think so. Yeah. So, that's pretty much it. If there's any questions.
I think we're going to play the digital story, and then we'll open it up for question. If you guys could just give me a thumbs up if you hear the audio.
When I was 4 years old, my grandmother on my maternal side passed away from emphysema, which is a lung disease caused from smoking cigarettes. She started at a very young age and became addicted. Being young and losing a close relative is very traumatic and scary. 2 months ago, my family lost a brother, an uncle, a dad, a partner, a pop, and a friend to stage 4 cancers caused from cigarette smoking from a very young age. Losing 2 family members to the exact same cause is a wake-up call. 2 years ago, I started working at the Family Resource Center in Round Valley, California, where I became introduced to tobacco education. That's when I knew I was where I needed to be because of my experience with commercial tobacco. In our community, different age groups of members have told me, our ancestors smoked tobacco so we can too. Or they say things like, cigarettes are traditional praying sticks. When in many tribes, tobacco is never inhaled. What are they praying for when they smoke cigarettes or use any other kind of commercial tobacco? In Round Valley, about 80% of the people I know in my life that have lived there since I was a little girl smoke or use some sort of commercial tobacco. About 2 handfuls of the high school students have or still use commercial tobacco recreationally. Many native smokers say tobacco helps them escape being stressed out, worried, sad, or angry. In native traditions, tobacco is used for healing purposes like prayings, offerings, ceremonies, and funerals. Most elders in our community say in order to grow and handle tobacco, you have to be on the red road. You should not abuse the traditional tobacco plant because it can cause your family members to become very ill to the point of causing death. This information proves how strong and powerful this plant is to our people. As a 7th generation today, awareness of the protocols in many tribes is important to teach so that we can all live a healthy life 7 generations down the line.
All right. So, hope you guys like that. I think at this time we can open it up for questions. If anyone has any questions. Well, I have one. Angelica, would you mind sharing with everyone where they can get more information for Project Sun if they wanted to do that?
Yeah, I think I have the contact information that I can send to you that you can maybe email to everybody. Her name is Monica. Can't say her last name, but it starts with a P. Um, or, Lou Morner. I think Claridina Soto, they are the ones who send me emails and send me the information or the guidebooks and all of that. So I can get that to you, and so that way you can send it to everybody. Because I think this would be a very, it's a great research project to have in your community, because then you get the results back and, you get to feel awesome about the work that you're doing. Especially the youth, they think it's cool they're going to be in a research project, so yeah.
Angelica, this is April Goforth
Yeah.
with RISE in Alturas. We did the Project Sun project with Dr. Soto and Lou Morner. You did an outstanding presentation. I thank you for that, and I hope that you allow that to be used as a PowerPoint for other programs, because it made the program so clear. You should be a trainer for that. But we did the program. It was very successful with all the points that you covered, and I'm thankful that we had that opportunity, but mostly that you gave that summary that was so clear and enthusiastic.
Thank you so much, April. I really appreciate that. I hope to be a trainer so that way I can teach, more of different Native communities. Like, the Project Sun is really cool. And sorry, you're making me very emotional right now. But thank you. I'm really happy that you guys were able to interpret the presentation and that you could understood everything, and I'm happy that you even did the Project Sun. That's cool. I never met anybody else who did the Project Sun. Maybe we can exchange emails so we can talk about your success story and all that.
That would be wonderful, including expanding the curriculum, but I do hope that you consider taking this presentation to the state conference, California Conference on American Indian Education, next year, because it would be valuable to share with other programs.
Thank you. I'll have to look into that and ask my boss. No.
All right. Yeah, I second everything April just said. I think it was fantastic, and I was super excited to get the webinar going. And then eight kids finished like strong, and they are commercial tobacco free. I think that was like, I was like, what? 8 whole, like that's a whole like generation of people. I thought it was awesome. I'll get off my soapbox here. But yeah, if you guys want, you can send me your emails and I'll send out to whoever you guys need me to. And I will post this webinar on YouTube, so it will be available if you guys wanted to show to whoever else, you guys want to show it to. Do we have any other questions or comments?
I do have a comment. Angelica, you did a fabulous job, and definitely we will make sure between me and Ephraim and Geneva and Eugene that you continue to get the education. And if you find something that you want to do, just shoot us an email, because that's something we can help you with. Fabulous job. Even more fabulous is to see a youth coming from the communities that has this much experience and that you share that. So fabulous job.
Thank you, Julie. That really means a lot. I definitely will. I definitely will be emailing you with maybe some more training, or I don't know, maybe just some other things that we can get in contact with. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Always.
All right, thank you, everybody. So I just would like to ask if you can fill out the evaluation, and I'll launch the poll
Eugene, or not Eugene, Ephraim, before we go, can you go back to the slides so I can go over our announcements just one more time for some of the folks that came on later?
Yeah, of course.
So for some of the folks that did come on later, A couple of things. If I have not scheduled your site visit with you, if you can go ahead and email me, jv@crib.org, and just give me a couple of dates that might work for you and maybe some of your team or community members. Also, progress reports have been sent out by Eugene. They are due July 19th. Please give him a call. He is going to be available for appointments Monday, July 15th through the 18th. Also, we are going to be having our Region 3 meeting. This is going to be in Bishop, California on July 24th from 1:30 to 4:30 p.m. Also, we have ESAG. So for those of you who are part of the ESAG, Eugene will be contacting you. August 13th is going to be your meeting and success stories. If you have those and you would like to submit those early so Geneva can review those and give you some feedback, that's great. If not, please submit those by September 29th. Thank you.
And so also with the progress reports, if I could just chime in, I sent out an email. We did not send out like the template like last time, the report that you worked on last time. So your PR number 2, the latest version that you submitted is what you're going to work on. So if you just open up the same file with PR number 3, you'll be able to fill it out just like you did the previous time. And again, if you do have any questions about your PRs, they are due next week. So please don't hesitate to give me a call or give me an email. And it's super easy to do it with me over the phone. It takes less than an hour, and we can just get it out of the way. So yeah.
All right, awesome. Thanks, everybody. I think we have just about everybody here with their polls, so I'll end it here in a second. There we go. That's everybody. Thank you so much for another Acorn Site webinar. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to email us, and you can always submit a TA request, and I'll get this uploaded to YouTube as soon as I can within the next couple days here. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.